Alright, this is 11.6 day 1 homework. We have 3 problems. We're finding the mean, the variance, and the standard deviation for each set, and we're finding it by hand using the chart. Remember, there will be a question like this on your test. You will not be given the headers in the table. You will have to know how to fill the table out on your own. So for number 6, we're given our data set. Remember, it's just good if we put these in order just because that's the way we've been doing them so far with everything else. So if we reorder, we get 21, 78, 90, 111, 381, 456, and 673. So that's our data reorder. So then for these type of problems where we're finding variance and standard deviation, we want to first find the mean. So we're going to find x bar. Remember, that's just another notation for the mean. And we want to add up all of our data points in our set. So we add all these up. We get 1,810. And then we're going to divide by our total number of data points in our set. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to divide by 7. And we're going to get 258.6. So our mean, or our x bar value, is 258.6. So now to fill out the table, the first column is your data values, so all the points in your set. So we have 21, 78, 90, 111, 381, 456, and 673. So those are our data values in our set. Now the next column is your data value subtracting the mean. So we're going to have 21 minus 258.6 in the first row of our second column. That gives us a negative 237.6. Then we have 78 minus 258.6, which gives us negative 180.6. Then we have 90 minus 258.6, which gives us a negative 168.6. 111 minus 258.6 is negative 147.6. 381 minus 258.6 gives us a positive 122.4. .456 minus 258.6 gives us a positive 197.4. And finally, 673 minus 258.6 gives us a positive 414.4. So we're going to take these values, our x minus x bar values that we just found, and we're going to square them. Remember, in this third column, all of these values will be positive. So we can ignore those negative signs when we're squaring. So our first one, we're going to square is 237.6. That gives us 56,453.76. 180.6 squared is 32,616.36. 168.6 squared is 28,425.96. 147.6 squared is 21,785.76. 122.4 squared is 14,981.76. 197.4 squared is 38,966.76. And finally, 414.4 squared is 171,727.72. Or no, 0.36, sorry. 0.36. So once we've squared all of those values, we need to add them all up. So we're going to add all of these values in the third column. When we add those up, we get 364,957.72. Now, to find the variance, we're going to divide that number that we just found by adding up column 3, and we're going to divide by n. N was our number of data points. We had 7 data points, so we're going to divide this number by 7. When we divide 364,957.72 by 7, we get 52,136.8. So our variance for problem 6 is 52,136.8. And then finally we need to find the standard deviation, and that's taking the square root of your variance. So we're going to square root 52,136.8. When we square root that number, we get 228.3. So our standard deviation is 228.3. Hang on. You good now? On the next page, number 7. So number 7, we're given these data values. Again, it's just good practice to reorder them so that they're in increasing order. So we have 10, 12, 13, 15, 17, 18, and 21. So again, the first thing you want to do is find your mean. So x bar, when we add up all of these points, and we divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 again, you should get 15.1. So your mean is 15.1. And again, that's adding up your data values and dividing by the total number of data values. So again, using the chart, we're going to fill in our data values in the first column. So we had 10, 12, 13, 15, 17, 18, and 21. In the second column, we're taking those data values and we're subtracting the mean from them. So we're going to have 10 minus 15.1. That gives us a negative 5.1. We have 12 minus 15.1. That gives us a negative 3.1. 13 minus 15.1 gives us a negative 2.1. 15 minus 15 minus 15.1 gives us a negative 0.1. 17 minus 15.1 gives us a positive 1.9. 18 minus 15.1 gives us a positive 2.9. And 21 minus 15.1 gives us a positive 5.9. So these values are our x minus x bar values. Now we want to square those. Again, they will all be positive. So 5.1 squared is 26.01. 3.1 squared is 9.61. 2.1 squared is 4.41. 0.1 squared is 0.01. 1.9 squared is 3.61. 2.9 squared is 8.41. And finally, 5.9 squared is 34.81. Now, again, you're going to add all of these values up and put it right here. So when we add up all of our squared values, we get 86.87. To find our variance, we're going to divide by our n size, which was 7. We had 7 data points. So 86.87 divided by 7 is 12.41. So our variance for problem 7 is 12.41. And then again, to find the standard deviation, we're going to take the square root of our variance. So we're going to take the square root of 12.41. When we square root 12.41, we get 3.5. So our standard deviation is 3.5. And then our last problem, problem 9. Again, reorder your data set. So we have 35, 39, 40, 45, and 60. And again, the first thing you want to do is find your mean. So x bar, when we add up these 5 digits, we get 219. And there are 5 of them, so we're dividing by 5. And that gives us 43.8. So our mean, or our average, is 43.8. Again, putting in our data values into the chart. So we have 35, 39, 40, 45, and 60. In the second column, we're taking those values and subtracting the mean. So we have 35 minus 43.8, which gives us a negative 8.8. Then we have 39 minus 43.8. That gives us a negative 4.8. 40 minus 43.8 gives us a negative 3.8. 45 minus 43.8 gives us a positive 1.2. And 60 minus 43.8 gives us a positive 16.2. So again, these are our x minus x bar values. So in column 3, we're going to square those values. So 8.8 squared is 77.44. 4.8 squared is 23.04. 3.8 squared is 14.44. 1.2 squared is 1.44. And 16.2 squared is 262.44. And again, we want to add these values. So when we add all of those squared values, we get 378.8. And then to find the variance, we're going to divide by our total number of points, which was 5. So 378.8 divided by 5 gives us 75.76. So our variance is 75.76. And then to find the standard deviation, we take the square root of our variance. So we're going to take the square root of 75.76, which is going to give us 8.7. So our standard deviation is 8.7. And we're done.